बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 प्रभुपाद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने। श्रीवासभानवी देवी दैताय कृपाप्रिये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्य जलप्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिद श्रीगौरकरुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ते दीनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्बोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौराविर्भवभूमिस्त्वं वेदेष्टा सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपः स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पङ्गुर्मम मन्देर्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजौ श्रीराधा मदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा शीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठदेवी सेव्यमानं स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुसुनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रीयोऽस्तु नः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वशास्त्रादिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फला सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्ववेदैकदृक्पदा सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाटनाय प्रेमवक्षक्षराय ते सर्वंदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। मदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मत्पुरो मत्महाधन मन्निष्ठारकमद्भाग्य मदानन्द नमोस्तुते असाधु साधु तत्तायिन्नतीनीचोच्युतारकहानं च पदार्चिं मां प्रेम्णारुत्कण्ठयोस्फुरः पादौ यदीयो प्रथमा द्वितीयो तृतीयो कथितौ यदूरि नाभेस्तथा पञ्चमेव षष्ठौ भुञ्जान्तरन्धोर्युगलं तथान्यौ कण्ठस्थुराजन्नवमो यदीयौ मुखारविन्दं दशमं प्रफुल्लम् एकादशो यश्च ललाटपट्टं क्षीरोऽपि यद्वादशेव भाति नमामि देवं करुणानिधानं तमालवर्णं सुहितावतारम् आपारसंसारसामोत्रसेतुं भजामहे भागवतस्वरूपम् भजामहे भागवतस्वरूपम् आराध्य भगवान् योगेशतनयस्तद्धामदन्दावन् रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवतु वर्गेण वा कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेम कुमार्तो महान् श्रीचैतन्यमत् महाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्र आदरः नापरः श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणममलं यद्वैष्णवानां प्रियं यस्मिन् पारमहंस्येकम् अमलं ज्ञानं परं गीयते तत्र ज्ञानविरागभक्तिसंहितं नैष्कर्म्यमाविस्मृतं तच्छृण्वन्सु पठन् विचारणपरो भक्त्या विमुच्येन नरः इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकस्य धन्यं स्वस्य यनं महान्. So many verses. So Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam. Still we have not done Garuda Purana, Skanda Purana versus glorifying Bhagavatam. Actually, so many lifetimes into to actually relish Bhagavatam. We are now just looking at the Bhagavatam. Relish Bhagavatam. Don't know Krishna's mercy should be done. Okay. Actually, Bhagavatam is not difficult. We take it in a very educational mode. That is why we feel it is difficult. It's not difficult. It's easy. It's nothing but the relationship of a jiva with Krishna. So it's not. It's actually like Bhagavad Gita is also not difficult. The Bhagavatam is also not difficult. As such, you all are doing devotional service. The exam word now that gives anxiety. So you feel, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? This Bhagavatam is too much. No, it's actually very wonderful. Don't worry. Bhagavatam is the most easiest subject. We have studied all complicated subjects, right, in our childhood. Mathematics, geography. Actually, those were very difficult subjects. These subjects are actually the subject of the soul. Only some here and there we have to learn first. Don't worry. First, come out of the anxiety. So much of anxiety, everybody has taken. And 2 weeks' time is there for studying. Don't worry. I'll try to finish the portion by. When am I coming back? 16th, I try to complete the portion. So 31st exam, 15 days. And why you wait till the exam to study? Actually, 15 days before, you should not study only. Now only you should finish up your studies. When the portion you are doing, at the time write the corresponding answers and learn the verses. Don't keep till the last. 5-6 days before exam, don't study. Relish the subject. First, study the subject. Then digest the subject. Then relish the subject. Okay, who is talking there? In the Ranjana Rao. From where Ranjana Rao joined? Haribol. Ranjana Mataji, please delete yourself. Bindu Mataji? How come Ranjana Mataji is there in this class?
Don't know, Mataji.
Ranjana Rao, please delete yourself.
Vaibhava का group में ही डाला था बस.
Why did you put it in the Narayani group?
I didn't put.
Ask the call the Mataji and tell her to delete this.
Okay.
Okay. Now we are in the 5th verse. So what did we do yesterday? What we did? We studied about the different Purushas, 3 Purushas. First was Karanadakshayi Vishnu. Jagruhe Paurusham Rupam. What he has done? He has taken, accepted Paurusham Rupam. What is the meaning of plenary? Is plenary, this, that. So many things are confusing, isn't it? Plenary. What is the meaning of plenary? Anybody can say? What is the meaning of plenary? Who can tell? Who can tell the meaning of plenary? Sachadev Prabhu. What is the meaning of plenary? Because English words are really confusing. In the Sanskrit, it's just rupam. Taking a rupa. When we say plenary, part, and that becomes too much. No? Plenary portions. What is a plenary? Yes, Sachadev Prabhu. Sachadev Prabhu.
Yeah. Is it okay audio today?
Yes.
Plenary portion means expansion of expansion, and the Sanskrit word is kalaha.
Expansion of the expansion of the expansion. Now what is expansion?
Expansion means that it is the amsha of Krishna.
What is
Vishnu
amsha?
Tattva.
What is amsha? Go deep.
Vishnu
What is
Tattva.
amsha? What is Vishnu Tattva?
It means that the expansions are same as Krishna, but they have got same powers, but the exhibition of the powers is as per time, place, and circumstances.
Very good. So Lord appears in such a rupa where he has to execute certain functions. Not that whole opulences has to be shown. Whenever whatever required, that much is shown. That is known as expansion or rupa. It is why it is said Paurusham Rupam. Which rupa he has taken? Paurusham Rupam he has taken. He has come along with whom? He is taking Mahad. That is Mahat Tattva along with him. That is how Sambhutam. What is the meaning of Sambhutam? Made possible. Or there is a creation or made possible. What is made possible? This rupa is made possible. He has appeared in this rupa with he has brought with him 16 important ingredients. Loka Sukshaya, with the intention of creation. And then he enters every Brahmanda. That is Garbhadakshayi Vishnu. And what is he doing? He found the place is not so wonderful. That is why he filled 3/4 of the creation with his perspiration. So there he seems to be lying, but it is Yoga Nidra. It is not Maya Nidra. It is Yoga Nidra. When Yoga Nidra means he is in meditation. What is that meditation? Vitanvataha. See one word. Don't read English at all. First read one word. Try to understand the equivalent meanings. Then it will become very easy. If you directly study, it will become very difficult. Yasyam bhasi shayanasya yoga nidram vitanvataha. What is he doing in this meditation? He is ministering. Ministering means he is examining, or there is a vigilance. He is keeping that vigilance by nabhi rudam bujadasid. On the top of the flower, who is sitting? Brahma. So he has created from his navel a wonderful lotus flower, a lotus stem, a lotus flower with a stem, you can say. And he has given this responsibility to Brahma. And who is ministering that? Garbhadakshayi Vishnu is ministering. Vishwa Srujampatihi. He is the minister of all the engineers. He's the head of all the engineers. who Brahma is a master. Now then, what happened in the third verse, what we saw? Now, Garbhodakshai Vishnu has expanded. The whole universe is actually the expansion of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Now, there are neophytes who are not able to understand who is God. So then, Kalpitaha. Kalpitaha means they are imagining. What they are imagining? Oh, this mountain is actually the hairs of Krishna. Oh, these caves are actually nostrils of Lord. In this way, they go on imagining different ways. See, keep your phones in mute. Angel Khanna, don't talk. Angel Khanna. I'm going to punish you Allah, if you talk there. Fingers on the lips, I have not told so.
Mataji, my phone is on mute.
You're talking. Why Khanna Prabhuji is talking in the class? His voice is heard.
Khanna Prabhu, you are talking.
So I'm going to punish. Now keep your mobiles on, these videos on. Keep all the videos on. And afterwards you'll find Bhagavatam very difficult because you're not relishing Bhagavatam. Keep all the videos on. Then only you will understand. Because even if you are not sincere in the class, you will not see now. Bhaktani Prabhu is driving, still his mobile is on. Very good, wonderful. Let the mobiles be on. We can at least see your sincerity in the class. Okay, okay.
I was mute. I don't know how this happened. Call came in.
You are talking in the class. Punishment then.
Mataji, call came in.
I'm going to take 1
Sorry.
kilo gold from you. His punishment is 1 kilo gold.
That is such a discounted punishment, Mataji. Thank you.
Kalpitaha is imagination. Lokavistaraha. Lokavistaraha means now the people, the inhabitants of the Loka, they are imagining what will be the form of Lord. Oh, such a huge creation Lord has done. Then what would be Lord's body? Oh, that will be so huge. So in this way, they are imagining. And what they're imagining, oh, Lord must be having thousands of hands, thousands of legs, thousands of eyes. Because if the creation itself is so huge, then what must be Lord's body? In this way, they are trying to see the Lord with their imagination. Then the question arises, is the Virat form eternal? No, it's not eternal. At the same time, it belongs to Krishna only. Whenever required, Lord can exhibit. Like Lord exhibited the Virat Rupa to Arjuna. It is up to him. So in that Rupa, what Arjuna saw, read 11th chapter very nicely. You can understand the universal form. What it did, what was seen? Everything was seen. So many hands, so many arms, so many thighs, so many eyes, and the fire. There is some universe, so many universes. That means everything is seen in that Virata form. That means this form is not eternally existing, but because it is Krishna's, so we can say yes, eternally existing. What do you mean by eternally existing? That means this comes and goes wherever required. No, whenever Krishna requires, he can exhibit that eternal form. There is no loka which is holding eternal form of Virata Rupa. What is the meaning of Virata? First understand. Virata means expansion. How can there be a loka with a Virata form? Virata means expansion. In that expansion, all the demigods are also seen. All the planetary systems are also seen. And also all the avatars are also seen. That means the whole opulence of Krishna, how can there be a loka to hold such rupa? It is up to Krishna when he wants to show that whole thing to a person. It is like you're showing everything. It's not some part. Now, for Rama, there is a Saket Loka. For Gaur Sundar, there is a Navadip Loka. For Krishna, Goloka Dham is there. For every Napartha Sarthi Loka is also there. So for every avatara, there is one Loka. But for Virat Rupa, which Loka can hold? Because it is a sum and bonum of all the, it is having not only the spiritual sky, it is also showing the material sky. It also shows demigods, isn't it? You have studied? I have not studied 11th chapter. You have studied? I only study when I teach you. I did not teach you, so actually I have not studied. So 11th chapter, what it has? It has demigods also. It has, Lord shows all the demigods. Lord shows all the Rudras. That means Lord is showing even the material expansions in that. So it is only the sum and bonum of everything, spiritual sky, material sky, everything. Virat, the word itself, Virat means what? Expansion. So Lord is showing the expansion. Seeing that, Arjuna is horrified. Oh my God. So much of expansion. I cannot even see that. It's not so easy to see Virat Rupa. Where Lord is showing everything. Lord is showing even the ghosts also. All the negative elements also Lord is showing. They are also in me only. So in this way, Lord is showing everything in that. So, but a common man, what he sees when he sees in a mountain or a river, then he starts imagining. That is why this is also known as imagination, kalpitaha. Now, 5th verse. So I think till here it is clear. Clear now? Not clear? Nobody is shaking the head also. Clear or what? Okay. The Raksha Mataji is representing all of you. She is. Etannanavataranam nidhanam bijamapyayam yasyam shamshena sujyante devatiryannaraadayah. Etannanavataranam nidhanam bijamavyayam yasyam shamshena sujyante devatiryannaraadayah. Okay, Raksha Mataji, chant after me.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Etannanavataranam
Etannanavataranam
nidhanam
nidhanam bija avyayam.
बोलिए निधानम
निधानम bija avyayam.
यस्याम शामशेन सृज्यन्ते
Yasham shamshena srujyante
देवतिर्यन्नरादयः
devatiryang naradayah.
Etanna, now who will chant after me? Chakkan Prabhu. Etannanavataranam nidhanam
बीजमव्ययम्
yasyam shamshena
सृजन्ते देवतिर्यन्नरादयः.
So this form, the second manifestation, here which form has been described? That is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Etan Nanavataranam. So is the source. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the source. And source of what? Source of incarnations. Avataranam. Nana Avataranam. Nidhanam. Nidhanam means source. Multifarious incarnations. He is the source of multifarious incarnations. Bijam. He is also the Bijam. Which Bijam? Avyayam. Indestructible Bijam. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the indestructible Bijam. And also he is the source of all the incarnations. And you say, what is this so confusing? Krishna is the source, na? From where Garbhodakshai Vishnu came? That is why if we see Krishna's expansions to be different from Krishna, then all the problem arises. When there is an expansion, that expansion is just to fulfill a particular function. So it is not that Krishna and Garbhodakshai Vishnu are something different. Yes, Krishna incarnates as Balaram, and Balaram on the contrary, expands as 3 Purushas, after so many Chaturvyuhas and all. But again, if you see Mula, Balaram is non-different from Krishna. So indirectly, Garbhodakshai Vishnu is also non-different from Krishna. So indirectly, we can say even Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the source. Why? At least he is very near to us. The nearest is who? Shirodakshai Vishnu, and then is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Anyhow, the avatars have to come in this loka. Try to understand. Avatars have to come in this loka. So who is that immediate source to whom we can see? That is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He's allowing everyone, Chalo, come. All avatars of Krishna are entering from where? From Garbhodakshai Vishnu only. So if Amar Chitra Katha is writing, Vishnu is the source of incarnation, we say, hey, how dare you write like that? They have that much only knowledge. They are seeing the immediate cause. They are not seeing the remote cause that Krishna is the avatari. So if somebody says Vishnu's avatars, you should not even immediately land up in fighting with them. No, you are all completely wrong. Here it is said, Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the source. That is the immediate source. Because he is the controller of the Brahmanda, he has entered each and every universe. When Krishna has to enter the universe, he has to take permission from his own expansion. That is why it seems that Krishna is one of the avatara. Actually, Krishna is avatari. The devotees know. But for a neophyte, Krishna seems to be one of the avatara of Vishnu. So that is where there is a confusion. Confusion between the neophytes. The neophyte thinks, okay, or some dry speculators, they may think, okay, Vishnu is the incarnator of all the incarnations. He is the source. Now, yasya amshaha amshena. So from him, there are so many plenary portions created. From whom? From Garbhodakshai Vishnu. That is how from his navel, there is a stem which rises. And in that stem, what is there? 14 planetary systems are there. In that, who are all there? Demigods are there. Animals are there. Humans are there. So who they are? They are also expansion of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Particles and portions of this form. You say particles and portions. What is this? Jiva is who? Mamaivanshu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanasa. That is why all are part and parcel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Now, who is Garbhodakshai Vishnu? Non-different from Krishna only. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna very clearly says, Mamaivanshu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanata. So there has to be somebody from where it has come. So in this way, there is an expansion. First expansion, Balaram into Chaturvyuha into Sankarshana, Mahasankarshana, Mahavishnu. In this way, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the Garbhodakshai Vishnu seems to be the source of everything. Source of all the incarnations, and also the source for so many living entities gaining various forms. Aruna Mataji, read the purport. It's a big purport. So step by step, while reading the purport, others should pay very nice attention. In the first paragraph you read. In the first paragraph, 3 Purusha avatars have been glorified. Second paragraph, detailing about the Leela avatars has been given. In the second. And then Guna avatars have been spoken. After Guna avatars, Manvantara avatars have been spoken. After Manvantara avatara, Yuga avatars have been spoken. After Yuga avatara, Shakti Avesha avatara has been spoken. So here in purport, why Prabhupada has to write all 6 types of avatars? They seem to appear from Garbhodakshai Vishnu. They have to knock, hey, I'm entering your Brahmanda. Who will open the door of Brahmanda? Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So it seems that he is the source. Understood or difficult? Okay, it's very easy actually, not so difficult. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Purusha Avatara, Purusha, after creating innumerable universes in the Mahat Tattva, entered in each of them as the second Purusha, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. When he saw that within the universe there was only darkness and space without a resting place, he filled half of the universe with water from his own perspiration and laid himself down on the same water. This water is called Garbhodaka. Then from his navel, the stem of the lotus flower sprouted, and on the flower petals the birth of Brahma, or the master engineer of the universal plan, took place. Brahma became the engineer of the universe, and the Lord himself took charge of the maintenance of the universe as Vishnu. Brahma was generated from Rajoguna
What's the meaning of Vishnu? Meaning of Vishnu? Who can answer? Meaning of Vishnu.
सर्वत्र वसति इति विष्णु.
विशति इति सर्वत्र विष्णु. विशति प्रवेश करना. विशति. What is this disturbing? Keep your mobile off. Vishati. See, Bade Prabhuji is keeping his mobile on. Okay. Vishati iti sarvatra Vishnu. Okay, next. Read.
Brahma was generated from the Rajoguna of Prakriti, or the mode of passion in nature, and Vishnu became the Lord of the mode of goodness. Vishnu, being the transcendental to all the modes, is always aloof from the materialistic affection. This has already been explained. From Brahma, there is Rudra, Shiva, who is in charge of the mode of ignorance or darkness. He destroys the whole creation by the will of the Lord. Therefore, all three, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, are incarnations of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. From Brahma, the other demigods like Daksha, Marichi, Manu, and many others became incarnated to generate living entities within the universe. This Garbhodakshai Vishnu is glorified in the Vedas in the hymns of Garbhastuti, which begin with the description of the Lord as having thousands of heads, etc. The Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the Lord of the universe, and although he appears to be lying within the universe, he is always transcendental. This also has already been explained. The Vishnu, who is the plenary portion of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu, is a super soul of the universal life, and he is known as the maintainer of the universe, or Shirodakshai Vishnu. So, the three features of the original Purusha are thus understood, and all the incarnation within the universe are emanations from the Shirodakshai Vishnu. Hare Krishna.
Now, all incarnations within the universe are emanations from Shirodakshai Vishnu. You say, what is going on? Garbhodakshai Vishnu, then Shirodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is a super soul for whom universe. He is a super soul even for whom? For Shirodakshai Vishnu. Shirodakshai Vishnu is a super soul for whom? All the living entities. When you say super soul, means he knows. He knows about this universe. He also knows that he is now going to take the form of Shirodakshai Vishnu. And now, see, for Lord, it is not that one form over another form. He is simultaneously existing. And in this way, when the creation happens, subcreation happens, Lord enters in each and every living entity as Shirodakshai Vishnu. Now he also enters in the things which has no consciousness, that is Jada, as Brahman. So Shirodakshai Vishnu also knows about Brahman. So he is a Paramatma even for the Brahman also. That is why universe has been told. Universe. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the Paramatma for all the universe. Now for entering in each and every living entity to know their desires, Lord enters as Shirodakshai Vishnu. Same, just the names are different. Now Lord has to know now what is happening in your heart, my heart. Then Lord enters as Paramatma. But overall, Lord is the, for the whole universe. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the Paramatma. That means he knows about every Jada Vastu also. He knows everything. Super soul means he is knowing everything. That is why they said, Ekam to Mahasrashtu. And beyond that, who knows? Garbhodakshai Vishnu knows about Mahatattva. Ekam to Mahasrashtu. Ekam here refers to whom? Write this shloka. Ekam to Mahasrashtu. Mahat means, this just for your knowledge. Ekam to Mahat Srashtu. Mahat Tattva. Ekam to. So you are the Paramatma for Mahat Tattva. And then Dvitiyam Twandam Stitam. Dvitiyam, second form, that is Garbhodakshai form. He is entering in every Anda, that is Brahmanda. Andam Stitam. He is there in that. Tritiyam, Dvitiyam Twandam Stitam. Tritiyam Sarvabhutanam Stitam. Tritiyam Sarvabhutanam Stitam. So Tritiyam is Shirodakshai Vishnu. He is there in everyone's heart. Now, all these three Purushas actually are what? Same Vishnu only, who is entering everywhere. Names changes. And when the name changes, persons also change. But at the same time, the same person only. He appears in three forms. He will look like three forms, but he is the same person. He can take as many forms as much he wants. At the same time, he remains that same person. That is why Vishnu Tattva. They are known as Vishnu Tattva. Like how Sachadev Prabhu very clearly said, Vishnu Tattva. Whenever, whatever required, that much he will show. That function he will show. For that, whatever form is required, like he wants to sleep now, be in the meditation, he will appear like Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Now he is appeared in everyone's heart. He will stand with Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. It is up to him. Okay. Jakan Prabhu, read from here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. In different millennia, there are different incarnations, and they are innumerable, although some of them are very prominent, such as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, and many others. These incarnations are called Leela incarnations. Then there are qualitative incarnations such as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva or Rudra, who take charge of the different modes of material nature.
1 minute.
Lord,
What is the difference between Leela Avatara and Guna Avataras? Guna Avataras, they are taking the charge of the three modes of material nature for some purpose. Creation, maintenance, destruction. Whenever Lord appears, he appears for some purpose. Leela, he wants to play. Leela is what he wants to play. There also purpose is there. But how is it purpose? He wants to enjoy. His enjoyment, his purpose. Everything is actually for his enjoyment only. But here Leela means playfully done. Very playfully done. Like Rama. Every activity is very playfully done. He killing the demons. It's all playfully done. It's not very, it's a big process or he has to do something extraneous, nothing. It's all playfully done. Like that Matsya, Kurma, when they have done all their activities, they have done for their enjoyment and it is done very playfully. That is why it is Leela, the Narsimha appears from the Stamba. I will say it is playfully done. Why it looks so horrible? No, for him it's a play. It's an enjoyment. Fighting with Hiranyakashipu. Okay. Read further.
Lord Vishnu is non-different from the personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva is in the marginal position between the personality of Godhead and the living entities or jivas. Brahma is always a jiva tattva.
Wait. Now here you should not be confused. What is this Lord Shiva between? Yes, Lord Shiva doesn't come in jiva tattva. Devi Devatas come in jiva tattva. Brahma also comes in jiva tattva. Amongst the most pious, whoever has done a lot of pious activity, among them, who is the topmost, they get the position of Brahma. Now, Shiva doesn't come in jiva tattva. What is this tattva tattva? Tattva means how much qualities you have. Like Lord has 100%, Krishna. Then Vishnu or Narayana has only 96. 4 qualities he is not exhibiting. Now, when you say Lord Shiva, he has 85% of attributes. Why it is little less? Just because Lord Shiva has touched the matter or material nature. Lord Krishna doesn't touch. Vishnu also doesn't touch. but Shiva touches. That is why attributes little bit lower. Brahma has to be there. He is only responsible for creation. That is why 75 attributes has been given to Brahma. We Jivas are lower than 75. 40, 30, 20, like that. Demigods are a little higher, like 50, 60. But on that top is Brahma. They have the qualities. When you say Tattva means they have the qualities of Krishna, not to the fullest. Okay.
Correct. The highest pious living being or the greatest devotee of the Lord is empowered with the potency of the Lord for creation, and he is called Brahma.
So among you, who wants to become Brahma? Huh? Who wants to become Bindu Mataji Brahma? Nobody wants to become Brahma. He is our Adi Guru. Okay.
Dasanudas.
What?
Dasanudas.
Dasanudas. Very good. Okay. Read.
His power is like the power of the sun reflected in valuable stones and jewels. When there is no such living being to take charge of the post of Brahma, the Lord himself become a Brahma and take charge of the post.
It's like governor's rule. Nobody is there, then president rule. What happens? Something president rule. No? The president himself has to take charge like that. Nobody is there. No pious living being is there. No devotees are ready to take even the post of Brahma. Devotees are there, but they don't want the post of Brahma. That is why I asked you, how many of you are ready to give your recruitment? Because nobody is there, then who will be in the post of Brahma? The Lord says, okay, even devotees are afraid to take the post. Because we have studied, na, Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmalam. Okay, we don't want any Upadi. Then Krishna says, okay, all are afraid to take the post of Brahma. Let me only become Brahma. Okay, next.
Lord Shiva is not an ordinary living being. He is the plenary portion of the Lord. But because Lord Shiva is in direct touch with the material nature, he is not exactly in the same transcendental position as a Lord Vishnu. The difference is like that between the milk and curd. Curd is nothing but milk, and yet it cannot be used in place of milk.
So all these things are from where? From Brahma Samhita has been put. Okay.
The next
Now this much
incarnation.
is, no wait. Gunavatara, Leela Avatara, Purusha Avatara. 3 types of Avatara. Purusha, Leela and Gunavatara has been spoken. Hemangi Mataji read from here. Manvantara Avatara.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. The next incarnations are the Manos within 1 day's duration of life of Brahma, which is calculated by our solar year as 43 lakhs into 1000 years. There are 14 Manos. Therefore, there are 420 Manos in 1 month of Brahma and 5040 Manos in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years of his age, and therefore there are 5040 into 100 or 5,04,000 Manus in the duration of Brahma's life. There are innumerable universes with one Brahma in each of them, and all of them are created and annihilated during the breathing time of the Purusha. Therefore, one can simply imagine how many millions of Manus there are during one breath of the Purusha. The Manus who are prominent.
One breath. In one breath, so many things have been shown. You can imagine.
The Manus who are prominent within this universe are as follows: Yagna as Swayambhu Manu, Vibhu as Swarochisa Manu, Satyasena as Uttama Manu, Hari as Tamasha Manu, Vaikunta as Raivat Manu, Ajit as Chakshusha Manu, Vamana as Vaivasvata Manu. The present age is under the Vaivasvat Manu. Sarvabhauma as Savarni Manu, Rishabha as Daksha Savarni Manu, Vishwakshina as Brahma Savarni Manu, Dharma Setu as Dharma Savarni Manu, Sudama as Rudra Savarni Manu, Yogeshwara as Deva Savarni Manu, and Brahad Bhanu as Indra Savarni Manu. These are the names of one set of 14 Manus covering 43,000 lakhs solar years as described above. Then there are
Yes.
the Yuga avatars.
Okay. Till now what we did, Manvantara avatars. In that Manvantara avatars, the avatars names have also been put with the respective manus. Okay. Kanna Prabhu, read from here. Now Yuga avatara. Then
Right.
how many became now? 1, 2, 3. Now Yuga avatara will be there. Then Shakti Avesh avatara.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Namaskar. Then there are the Yuga avatars or the incarnations of the millennia. The Yugas are known as Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. The incarnations of each Yuga are of different color. The colors are white, red, black, and yellow. In the Dwapar Yuga, Lord Krishna in black color appeared, and in the Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya in yellow color appeared. So all the incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. There is no scope for an impostor to become an incarnation. For an incarnation must be mentioned in the Shastras. An incarnation does not declare himself to be an incarnation of the Lord, but great sages agree by the symptoms mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The features of the incarnation and the particular type of mission which he has to execute are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Should I continue, Mataji? Last para.
Yes.
Apart from the direct incarnations, there are innumerable empowered incarnations. They are also mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Such incarnations are directly as well as indirectly empowered. When they are directly empowered, they are called incarnations. But when they are indirectly empowered, they are called vibhutis. Directly empowered incarnations are the Kumaras, Narada, Prithu, Shesha, Ananta, etc. As far as vibhutis are concerned, they are very explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. And for all these different types of incarnations, the fountainhead is the Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Hare Krishna.
Garbhodakshai Vishnu is the fountain. So now, directly empowered, they are all considered the incarnations. There are Nana Avatara. Many incarnations are there. The source is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Though the ultimate source is Krishna only. The source here has been shown as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And then indirect expansions are the Vibhutis, one who have superpowers. Okay, now sixth. Now from here starts the different incarnations, direct incarnations who are directly empowered by Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So first itself is Kumaras, the sons of Brahma. Saeva Prathamam Deva Kaumaram Sargamashitah Chachara Dushcharam Brahma Brahmacharyam Akhanditam. Angel, unmute yourself. Saeva Prathamam Deva
Saeva Prathamam Devah
Kaumaram Sargamashitah
Kaumaram Sargamashitah
Chachara Dushcharam Brahma
Chachara Dusharam Brahma
Brahmacharyam Akhanditam.
Brahmacharyam Akhanditam.
So the first incarnation, naturally after Brahma is gone, he will have his own children first. So 4 Kumaras are his sons who rejected to help Brahma in the further creation. That is why they were cursed by. Who is this? Is the way to talk or what? Ranjana Rao, why are you in the class? Hari Bol. What is this, Mataji? Bindu Mataji. I told you to remove her. She's not from this.
I removed her. She again joined me.
Why she's joining? You remove her, na? Why is she joining? Remove her and call her first. Caller. So now here, Sa Evam Prathamam. So they are the first incarnation. Brahma produced children. Usually Brahma married whom and how they produced. That's all not given. Then afterwards we'll do the detailed study also. It is this much given that Brahma got 4 children first. Asked them to develop the progeny. But then they refused. So when they refused, Brahma cursed them and told them you will be like this only. So they are small children. They are always like small children, but they are self-realized souls. So they are the 4 sons of Brahma. Okay. Purport. Nimla Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The creation of the material world is effected, maintained, and then again annihilated at the certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma, the father of the living beings in the creation. The Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kumara creation of the material world, and to teach us the process of Brahman realization, they underwent a severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumaras are empowered incarnations, and before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualification of Brahmana, not simply by birth, but also by quality, and then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization.
Now here, Brahma is actually, there is no qualified Brahmana to take the post or devotee to take the post. So the Brahma of this millennium is Lord himself. So Brahma has a potency to create Manasa Putra. So these 4 Kumaras, they technically come as the Manasa Putra. From the mind, Brahma's mind, 4 Kumaras appear. These 4 Kumaras, they had the qualities of all the Brahmana because they have the qualification of Brahmana. That is why they are setting an example. They are showing the woe of celibacy. They are showing how important is austerity. Because without austerity, realize Lord. For realizing the Lord, the vow of celibacy, austerity is very, very important. So Brahminical qualities has been given. Brahmaniti janati Brahmanaha. Brahminical qualities has been emphasized. And to teach that, Lord appears as Kumaras. Now Brahma sons only, but the first incarnation, Kumaras, they are the empowered incarnation of Lord. Okay, second. Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya rasatalagata mahim uddharishyan upadatta yajnesha saukaram vapuhu. Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya rasatalagata mahim uddharishyan yajnesha saukaram vapuhu. Okay, Manjari Mataji, you chant after me. Dvitiyam tu bhavayasya.
Dvitiyam tu
Bhavayasya. Rasatalagatam mahim.
Rasatalagatam mahim.
Uddharishyan
upadatta
yajnesha saukaram vapuhu.
Yagnesha Saukaram Vapu.
Sukura is the boar incarnation. See, Lord, whenever he is taking the incarnation, he is setting an example. Now, Kumaras are an example of a perfect Brahmana. You say, what is this boar? How can that be an example of a perfect, because when you are taking an incarnation, actually you're teaching what is self-realization, how a self-realized person works and all these things. What are his activities? Now, boar, if you see the walking of the boar will not look here and there, one pointed attention. Boar will dig with its small tusk. The roots. Boar will not eat anything dirty. So it's not pig. Pig eats the stool. Boar eats the roots and the bulbs. They're completely vegetarian. And they will not look here and there. That is how one pointed attention. Boar. So why Lord has appeared? For the welfare of the earth. He lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. He lifted the earth. So in this way, Lord appears because the earth was thrown in the ocean. The Lord has to uplift. So Lord appears in the Hiranyaksha. He has done this. Hiranyakashipu is the Hiranyaksha with this. So Lord appears as Sukura Rupa, Varaha Rupa. Here Varaha Rupa has been spoken. Okay. Read the perfect. We'll read. Vimla Mataji is done. Mohit Prabhu, you read the perfect.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The indication is that for each and every incarnation of the personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. There cannot be any incarnation without a particular function, and such functions are always extraordinary. They are impossible for any living being to perform. The incarnation of the bow was to take the earth out of Pluto's region of filthy matter. Picking up something from a filthy place is done by a boar, and the all-powerful personality of God had displayed this wonder to the Asuras, who hid the earth in such a filthy place. There is nothing impossible for him, and although the personality of God had played the part of a bow, still by the devotees he is worshipped, staying always in transcendence.
Now, Tritiya Rupa, Narada himself. First over Kaumaram, Kumara Rupa, Varaha Rupa, and now Tritiya Rupa. That is Devarshi. Tritiyam Rushi Sargam Vai Devarshi. Devarshitvam Upatyasaha. Devarshitvam Upayetyasaha. Tantram Satvatam Achashta Naishkarimyam Karmanam Mataha. Karmanam Yataha. Tritiyam Rishi Sargam Vai Devarshitvam Upetyasaha. Tantram Satvatam Achashta Naishkarimyam Karmanam Yataha. Gadi Mataji chant after me. Tritiyam Rishi Sargam Vai
Sargam Vai
Devarshitvam Upetyasaha. Devarshitvam
Upetyasaha.
Tantram Satvatam Achashta
Tantram Satvatam
Achashta Naishkarimyam Karmanam Yataha. Your voice.
Nishkarmyam Karmanam Yataha.
Keep your mobiles and all speakers and all properly. So much of other voices coming except your voice. When you know that you are going to read, be careful, na?
Sorry, Mataji.
Tantram Satvatam Achashta Naishkarmyam Karmanam Yataha. Okay, Mohit Prabhu, you read. Keep your mobile off. Why so much of disturbance from your mobile? Okay. Tritiyam Rishi Sargam Vai
Tritiyam Rishi Sargam Vai
Devarshitvam Upetyasaha.
Devarshitvam Upetyasaha.
Tantram Satvam Achashta
Tantram Satvatam Achashta.
Tantram Satvatam Achashta.
Tantram Satvatam Achashta.
Naishkarimyam Karmanam Naishkarimyam Karmanam Yataha.
Naishkarmyam Karmanam Yataha. Naishkarmyam Karmanam Yataha.
Okay. The Lord has appeared as Rishi. That is Devarshi, Narada. Why? To give Pancharatra to the humans. And what is a Pancharatra? The code of conduct. How to utilize everything in Krishna's service. For giving that, Lord appears as Narad Muni. This Pancharatra, that is why it is given here. Tantram Satvatam Achashta Satvatam. It is not, it is a Satvatam here refers to this Tantra. Pancharatra is a Tantra. Generally, when we use Tantra, we think, oh, this is of Tantrics. There are Tantra Shastras for destroying people. There are Tantra Shastra for the devotees. That means how to utilize everything in Krishna's service. For devotional service, there is Tantra Shastra. That Tantra Shastra is known as Pancharatra. Tantram, exposition of the Vedas. What is the meaning of exposition of the Vedas? The practical application of the Vedas, you can say. The Vedas, how the same Vedas, the practical application, how to utilize everything, that has been given in Pancharatra. And who has come for that? Narada Rishi has come for that. Devarshi. Achashtaha, he has collected. He has collected everything from the Vedas. Naishkarimyam, by which, by following this Pancharatri Vidhi, now what Vidhi we are following when we are worshipping the Lord? Pancharatri Vidhi. That is why Pancharatra Vidhi has been established by Sripad Ramamujacharya all over the Vaishnava temples. Except for 2 temples he could not establish, but other all temples he established. One is Jagannath Puri. There he could not establish the Pancharatri Vidhi. And another is Padmanabha Swami temple. There also he could not establish. There Tantra Shastra is used. Tantric Vidhi is used. In Jagannath Puri, whatever comes in the Panda's mind, whatever Krishna encourages or gives enthusiasm to the, they're all enthusiastic, whatever it comes in their mind, and that too is given by Jagannath only. In that way, they whatever inspiration has been given, in that way they serve. So Pancharatra means following the time schedule properly. In every temple, there is a time schedule which is followed. Morning, this much time, Lord has to be woken up. This much time, we have to offer the food to Krishna. In every temple, Pancharatra Vidhi is done. So what Pancharatra emphasizes on? Emphasizes on the Naishkarimyam. Naishkarimyam means performing an activity without any fruitive desires. Okay. Mohit Prabhu, you only read.
Yes, Mataji. The great Rishi Narada, who is an empowered incarnation of the personality of Godhead, propagates devotional service all over the universe. All great devotees of the Lord all over the universe and in different planets and species of life are his disciples. Srila Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is also one of his disciples. He is the author of Narada Pancharatra, which is the exposition of the Vedas, particularly for devotional service of the Lord. This Narada Pancharatra trains the karmis or the fruitive workers to achieve liberation from the bondage of fruitive work. The conditioned souls are mostly attracted by fruitive work because they want to enjoy life by the sweat of their own brow. The whole universe is full of fruitive workers in all species of life. The fruitive works include all kinds of economic development plans, but the law of nature provides that every action has its resultant reaction and the performer of the work is bound up by such reactions, good or bad. The reaction of good work is comparative material prosperity, whereas the reaction of bad work is comparative material distress. But material conditions, either in so-called happiness or in so-called distress, are all meant ultimately for distress only. Foolish materialists have no information how to obtain eternal happiness in the unconditional state. Sri Narada informs these foolish fruitive workers how to realize the reality of happiness. He gives direction to the diseased men of the world how one's present engagement can lead one to the path of spiritual emancipation. The physician gives direction to the patient to take treated milk in the form of curd for his sufferings from indigestion due to his taking another milk preparation. So the cause of the disease and the remedy of the disease may be the same, but it must be treated by an expert physician like Narada. The Bhagavad Gita also gives the same solution for serving the Lord by the fruits of one's labor. That will lead one to the path of Naishkarmya or liberation.
Naishkarmya. So there is a verse which says Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. If there is Naishkarmyam, there is no desire for the fruits of the actions, but there is achyuta bhava varjitam. There is no love for the Lord. Then what is the use of such Naishkarmyam? Na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. It's not giving any shobha. It's not giving any beauty. That is why Naishkarmyam, the proper meaning of Naishkarmyam, has been taught by Narada Rishi, who is incarnation of Lord himself. Empowered incarnation. Now we are speaking of what? Empowered incarnation. Kumaras, empowered incarnation. Narada Rishi, empowered incarnation. Leelavatara, Varaha is not empowered. Varaha is Leelavatara. He comes, he does some Leelas in this way. Okay. Now next. Turiye means fourth incarnation. Turye dharma kala sarge naranarayana rishihi naranarayana varishi bhutvatmo pasha mopetam akaro dushcharam tapah. Turye dharma kala sarge naranarayana varishi Bhutatmo pashamo petam akaro dushcharam tapaha. Milin Prabhu, you read after me. And then we read the purport also later after I describe. Turiye dharmakala sarge. Unmute yourself.
Turiye dharmakala sarge.
Naranarayana vrishi.
Naranarayana vrishi.
Bhutvatmo pashamo petam.
Bhutvatmo pashame pashamopetam. Pashamopetam.
Bhutvatmo pashamopetam.
Bhutvatmo
pashamopetam. Akaro dushcharam tapaha.
Akaro dushcharam patapaha.
Akaro dushcharam tapaha.
Akaro dushcharam tapaha.
Turiye means fourth. Dharmakala sarge. Dharmakala, the wife of Dharmaraj. Dharmakala. Sarge. So the sons of wife of King Dharma, the twin sons, Sarge here means they were born. Who were born? Naranarayana Rishi were born. When you go to Badrika Ashram, you will find Naranarayana Rishi's deities there. Naranarayana. So Lord appears as Naranarayana. Two hills are there. One is Nara Hills, one is Narayana Hills. My Prabhuji said Naranarayana. Two hills are there. So one is Nara Hills, one is Narayana Hills. Lord has appeared as two rishis. Bhutvatmo pashamot. So many sandhi vichedana will see. Bhutva means becoming. Atma upashama, for controlling the senses. He comes to show what is the control of the senses. Atma upashama. See, bhutva atma upashama. Upetam. How did we read? Bhutvatmo pashamo petam. Bhutva. But if you read actually like this, bhutva atma upashama upetam, it will break the words. That is why we have to join it. Bhutvatmo pashamo petam. Akarod. So he undertook. What he undertook? Dushcharam tapaha. A very strenuous tapaha. Very difficult tapaha. He undertook. Now to show control of senses is very important. So it so happens once Narada visits Vaikuntha. There he is seeing Narayana is enjoying with Lakshmi. He says, what is this? Their rishis are doing so much of tapasya. and you are enjoying with Lakshmi. Hey, you should set an example. Na? You yourself say, Yadada Chariti Sheshtas Takta Devi Tarajna. What type of example you are showing? You should also do some tapasya, then others also will be inspired to do tapasya. The Lord thinks, okay, let me find out an opportunity so that I can go from Vaikuntha and go to this Badri ashram. He selected now these hills where he can go and do tapasya. So when Lakshmi Devi goes to preach the wives of Kaliya, we know the wives of Kaliya, they used to get preaching from Lakshmi Devi. At that time, Narayana takes this opportunity. Or Lakshmi also will come now behind. If Lakshmi comes behind, then what tapasya will do? There also bhoga only. So that is why he takes the opportunity and then goes to Badrikashram. But he assumes two forms, Nar and Narayana form, both the forms, Rishi forms, and does tapasya. There Lakshmi understands, oh, my Narayana has gone to do the tapasya. Now how can she come and destroy his tapasya? At the same time, she is seeing that Lord is sitting like this directly under the sky. So much of heat will be there, cold will be there. So then she takes the form of Badri. Badri here refers to the tree, the bare tree. The boar tree is also known as Badri or Badri. In this way, she gives protection to Narayana. There's another story behind this, not another story, linking story. Why Lord has to come and do tapasya here? This is to kill Sahasra Kavach demon. There was a demon whose name was Sahasra Kavach. He had 1,000 Kavach. The condition was he had 1,000 Kavach, so nobody could kill him. Now, how to destroy this Kavach? The condition was if a Rishi does 1,000 years tapasya, then he can get qualification to destroy the Kavach. Now, if he has destroyed the Kavach, then immediately the second Kavach, another Rishi should be ready. Or again, this Kavach will come again. That is why simultaneously Lord took two forms. One Rishi does 1,000 years tapasya, kills one Kavach. Then immediately Narayana, this is Narayana Rishi, kills the first Kavach. By that time, Nara Rishi has done 1,000 years tapasya, kills the second. Third Narayana, fourth Nara, fifth Narayana, sixth Nara. Like that, 999 Narayana, then this, now he's left with only one Kavach. Sahasra Kavach is left with only one Kavach. He just takes shelter of sun god and goes and hides in the sun planet. So that is why Lord has to come again as Arjun Krishna. So Arjuna is the same Nara who killed Karna. Karna has one Kavach. Same Sahasra Kavach appeared as Karna. That is why he is also known as Surya Putra. He appears as the son of sun god. And in this way, one Kavach has been destroyed by Arjuna. 1,000th Kavach, Nara Rishi does that. Okay, Milind Prabhu, read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. As King Rishabha advised his sons, tapasya or voluntary acceptance of penance for realization of the transcendence is the only duty of the human being. It was so done by the Lord himself and in an exemplary manner to teach us. The Lord is very kind to the forgetful souls. He therefore comes himself and leaves behind necessary instructions and also sends his good sons as representative to call all conditioned souls back to Godhead. Recently, within the memory of everyone, Lord Chaitanya also appeared for the same purpose to show special favor to fallen souls of this age of iron industry. The incarnation of Narayana is worshipped still at Badrinaran on the range of Himalayas. Hare Krishna.
So nice to read incarnation, isn't it? Now we are relaxed of Bhagavatam. Are you feeling relaxed now? Now Panchama. Now let us see Panchama incarnation. So Narayana Rishi. Now Panchama. Panchama Kapilo Nama Siddhesha Kala Viprutam Provacha Suraye Sankyam Tattva Grama vinirnayam. Panchamaha nama siddhesha kala viplutam. Provacha suraye sankhya tattvagrama vinirnayam. Vinirnayam. Bhaktani Prabhu, read after me. Then afterwards we will read the purport also. Panchamaha nama
Panchamaha Kapilo Nama
Siddhesha Kala Viplutam
Siddhesha Kalutam
Kala Viplutam. Keep your mobiles Viplutam. Provacha Suraye Sankhyam
Provacha Surya Sankhyam
Tattvagrama Vinirnayam Tattvagrama Vinirnayam. Your voice.
Tattvagrama Vinirnayam.
Okay.
Tattvagrama Vinirnayam.
The fifth incarnation is Kapila Muni. Kapila, Devahuti's son, Kapila, is the fifth incarnation. He appears to speak Sankhya. He spoke Sankhya to a Brahmana named Asuri. Now, what is there in the Sankhya is metaphysics, these creative elements. He has exposed all these things. And he is showing from the Sankhya, it's analytical study, that I am not this matter, I am soul. At the same time, matter and the soul, they belong to Krishna. That is why the Sankhya spoken by Kapila was the perfect Sankhya. Three people spoke Sankhya. Krishna also spoke Sankhya in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna spoke, it is theistic Sankhya. But in that Sankhya, if you see the 11th verse to 30th verse, you will not find a single verse where devotional service has been mentioned. Anyhow, in the upcoming chapters, Krishna has spoke. But within that section of Sankhya, like Krishna is owning this both soul and matter, how to use the matter in Krishna's service. So all these things have not been spoken. But Kapila Sankhya speaks about it. There is another person, atheistic Kapila, who... Now, who is this now? Bhaktani Prabhu, unmute yourself. Now, atheistic Sankhya also, atheistic Kapila also spoke Sankhya. But there he restricted only to the knowledge of I am not the body, I am soul. What is the use of this knowledge? I am not the matter, I am soul. But if I am not serving Lord, what is the use of such Sankhya? So that is atheistic Sankhya, where the proprietor of the soul and the body is Krishna, has not been emphasized at all. Now, proprietor of the body and the soul is Krishna has not been told even by Krishna also. But because Krishna has spoken, it is theistic Sankhya. In upcoming chapters, anyhow Krishna is going to speak. But atheistic Sankhya, there is no mention about the proprietor of body and soul. But in theistic Sankhya, that is by Kapila Muni, very clear explanation about the proprietor has also been spoken, how to utilize everything in Krishna's service. Everything has been spoken, especially the Sankhya philosophy given by Kapila to his mother Devoti. The same Sankhya philosophy has been given to Asuri Brahman also. Okay, now read the purport. Bhaktani Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. The sum total of the creative elements is 24 in all. Each and every explicitly explained in the system of Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is generally called metaphysics by European scholars. The etymological meaning of Sankhya is that which explains very lucidly by analysis of the material elements. This was done for the first time by Lord Kapila, who is said herein to be the fifth enlightenment. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Now, Shashtam, sixth incarnation, Dattatreya has been given. Shashtam Atrer Apatyatvam वृतः प्राप्तो अनसूयया अन्वीक्षिकम् अन्वीक्षिकीम् अलर्काय प्रह्लादादीभ्य उच्चिवान् षष्ठम् अत्रेरपत्यत्वम् वृतः प्राप्तो अनसूयया आनवीक्षिकीम् अलर्काय प्रह्लादाभ्य उच्चिवाम्. Okay. Bindu Mataji, you read after me. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam.
Shtam atrerapatyatvam.
Vrtaha prapto anasuyaya.
Anusuyaya.
Keep your mobiles properly. Your voice is half broken. Others are also hearing the words. Keep your mobiles properly. Shashtam atrerapatyatvam.
Shashtam atrerapatyatvam.
Vrtaha prapto anasuyaya.
Prapto anasuyaya.
Anvikshikim alarkaya.
Vikshikim alarkaya.
Prahladaadibhya uchivan.
Prahladaadibhya uchivan.
Okay, read 1 minute. So Atri Muni's wife is Anusuya. Now Anusuya, she prayed for an incarnation. Shashtam atrera apatyatvam, sonship apatyatvam. He appeared as a son of Atri Muni. Why? Vrtaha prapta anasuyaya. Anasuya has done a lot of tapasya. So Anusuya wanted a son, who Lord himself has a son. So Anasuya did this tapasya. That is why Lord appeared. Now what did she pray? She asked all Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh to appear like her son. That is why all three appeared like the son. There's another story also behind that. They wanted to see her nude. They wanted to test her chastity. Some stories there, I'm not able to recollect it properly. I've read somewhere. So they come as a Brahmana and they are asking for, after feeding the Brahmanas, naturally the Brahmana has to be given some dakshina. So these Brahmanas actually, who were Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, who came in the form of Brahmana, they say, we want to see you nude. But Anusuya says, okay, you become child. She understands. They have come to test her. Then she also says, all of you become a small child. And in this way, they appear, and that too, they appear together like a small child. Something like that is there, some story I have read. But anyhow, here Srila Prabhupada says they appeared like Dattatreya, because she herself wanted that all three should appear as her son. And then why has come? To speak on the subject of transcendence, to whom Alarka, Prahlada and others, Yadu, Hayya, etc. Okay, read the purpose. Keep your voice mic properly and then read.
Hare Krishna.
Keep your mic properly. If it is broken, then somebody else can read.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, read.
The Lord incarnated himself as Dattatreya, the son of Rishi Atri and Anusuya. The history of the birth of Dattatreya as an incarnation of the Lord is mentioned in the Brahman Purana in connection with the story of the devoted wife.
Your voice.
It is said that Anusuya, the wife of Rishi Atri, prayed before the Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as follows: My lords, if you are pleased with me, if you desire me to ask from you some sort of blessing, then I pray that you combine together to become my son. This was accepted by the Lord, and as Dattatreya, the Lord expounded the philosophy of the spirit, soul, and especially instructed Alarka, Pralada, Yadu, Haika, etc.
So one question to you, Bindu. You are taking RTHS class, na? Are you taking with this type of mic? How the
No.
children will understand? Hmm?
No, my
Your
children,
lights are also not proper. Your voice is not proper. How you are taking RTHS school classes with this type of mic?
Mataji, light is not required morning time.
Okay, but this type of mic?
My children don't complain again about the mic.
They don't want to hear, that is why.
And my earphone I lost.
Then how you are taking the classes? Don't rely on the children. Here I want to hear, na? Others also want to hear. Now change your mic first. Okay. So Lord appears to expound the philosophy of the spirit soul. Lord appears as Dattatreya. Now let us see Saptamam. Tata Saptama Akutyam Akutyam. Tatah Saptama Rucher Yagyo Bhyajayata Sayamadhyai Suraganer Apad Swayam Bhuvantaram. Okay, Angel, read after me.
Mataji, Angel has just gone to drop the deities.
Okay, you chant after me. Tatha Saptama Kutyam
Tatah Saptama Akutyam
Rucher Yagyo Bhyajayata
Rocher Yakyo Bhyajayata
Sayamadhyai Suraganer
Sayamadhyai
Suraganer
Sayamadhyai Suraganer
Apaswayam Bhuvantaram.
Patswayam Bhuvantaram.
Now we saw in the previous, that is in the 5th. Now that Yajna has been spoken here. Incarnation of Lord as Manavantara Avatara. Yajna comes in Manavantara Avatara. Dattatreya comes in empowered Shakti Avesha.
Hare Krishna Mataji, you are
No voice, Mataji.
no voice.
Purushavatara out of question. Gunavatara out of question. Manvantara out of question. Then what is that? Manvantara is there. Leela Avatara is there. Gunavatara is there. Yugavatara out of question. So empowered incarnation. So Dattatreya is counted as empowered incarnation. Sometimes Leela Avataras are also counted as empowered incarnation. Like Vamana is in some places they are counted. He is counted as empowered. In some places it is Leela Avatara. Adishesha empowered incarnation, like that. Now here it is. Now we are speaking about Manvantara incarnation. He appears Tataha Saptama Akutyam. Akutyam means he appears in the womb of Akuti. Prajapati Ruchihi. He comes is the son of Ruchi, Prajapati Ruchi. Yagyam. Yagyaha, the Lord's incarnation is Yagya. Abhyajayataha, he comes. And how he comes? He comes along with Yama and others. Suraganihi, he comes along with the demigods. Apata Swayambhuva Antaram. So when there is a change of the period of Swayambhu Manu, now Swayambhu Manu has to take the rule. At that time, Lord appears as Yajna. Okay, read the purport.
Read Mataji.
Read purport.
Okay, ma'am. Hare Krishna. The administrative posts occupied by the demigods for maintaining the regulations of the material world are offered to the highly elevated pious living beings. When there is a scarcity of such pious living beings, the Lord incarnates himself as Brahma, Prajapati, Indra, etc., and takes up the charge. During the period of Swayambhuva Manu, the present period is of Vaivasvata Manu. So during the period of Swayambhuva Manu, there was no suitable living being who could occupy the post of Indra. And the king of Indralok, that is Indralok heaven planet, the Lord himself at that time became Indra. Assisted by his own sons like Yama and other demigods, Lord Yagya ruled the administration of the universal affairs. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Let us take one more, last. अष्टमी मेरुदेव्यां तु नाभिर्जात उरुक्रमः दर्शयन् वर्त्म धीराणां दर्शयन् वर्त्म धीराणां सर्वाश्रमनमस्कृतम् अष्टमी मेरुदेव्यां तु नाभिर्जातः उरुक्रमः दर्शयन् वर्त्म धीराणां सर्वाश्रम नमस्कृतम्. Okay, Manjari Mataji, read with me. Ashtame Merudevyam tu
अष्टमे मेरुदेव्यां तु
Nabhirjatah Urukramah
नाभेर्जातवुरुक्रमः
Darshayan Vartma Dhiranam
दर्शयन् वर्त्मधीराणां
Sarva Shamanamaskrutam.
सर्वाश्रमनमस्कृतम्.
The eighth incarnation, Rishabh Muni, Rishabh, the son of King Nabhi. We have all this in the upcoming chapters about King Rishabh. He is the son of King Nabhi and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. So he is showing what is the path of perfection. Rishabh Dev's teachings to his sons are very, very important learnings. Actually, when we study Bhagavatam, Rishabh Dev's teachings are very, very important. So he's showing the path of perfection. He's showing how to control the senses. There is a nice verse which Rishabh Dev says. Rishabh Dev says, what is the why one has to try to fulfill the senses? This human life is meant for self-realization. If in this human life, if a person is just trying to fulfill his sense gratifications, then it is, even in the pig's life also, they are doing the same thing. What is the difference then between the human life and the pig's life? So this verse is very beautiful verse. I'll try to put that verse which Rishabh Dev's teachings. Okay, read the purport.
The society of human beings is naturally divided into 8 by orders and statuses of life, the 4 divisions of occupation and 4 divisions of cultural advancement. The intelligent class, the administrative class, the productive class, and the laborer class are the 4 divisions of occupation. And the student life, the householder's life, retired life, and renounced life are the 4 statuses of the cultural advancement towards the path of spiritual realization. Out of these, the renounced order of life, or the order of sannyasa, is considered the highest of all. And a sannyasi is constitutionally the spiritual master for all the orders and divisions. In the sannyasa order, also, there are 4 stages of upliftment toward perfection. These stages are called Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Parivrajacharya, and Paramahamsa. The Paramahamsa stage of life is the highest stage of perfection. This order of life is respected by all others. Maharaja Rishabha, the son of King Nabhi and Meru Devi, was an incarnation of the Lord, and he instructed his sons to follow the path of perfection by tapasya, which sanctifies one's existence and enables one to attain the stage of spiritual happiness, which is eternal and ever increasing. Every living being is searching after happiness, but no one knows where eternal and unlimited happiness is obtainable. Foolish men seek after material sense pleasure as a substitute for real happiness. But such foolish men forget that temporary so called happiness derived from sense pleasures is also enjoyed by the dogs and hawks. No animal, bird, or beast is bereft of this sense pleasure. In every species of life, including the human form of life, such happiness is immensely obtainable. The human form of life, however, is not meant for such cheap happiness. The human life is meant for attaining eternal and unlimited happiness by spiritual realization. This spiritual realization is obtained by tapasya, or undergoing voluntarily the path of penance and abstinence from material pleasure. Those who have been trained for abstinence in material pleasures are called dhira, or men undisturbed by the senses. Only these dhiras can accept the orders of sannyasa, and they can gradually rise to the status of paramahamsa, which is adored by all members of society. King Rishabha propagated this mission, and at the last stage, he became completely aloof from the material bodily needs, which is a rare stage not to be imitated by foolish men, but to be worshipped by all.
So if you see the fifth canto, fifth chapter, from the first verse onwards, Rishabhdeva speaks. Nayam deho dehabhajam loke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujange tapotivyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhe dasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. To experience the brahma saukyam, Nayam deho, this is why utilize this body for sense gratification. Deha bhajam loke, we have got a wonderful human body. Kaman, why kashtams take so much of trouble to just fulfill our desires, taking so much of trouble. Whereas that vidbhujan, that is a stool eater, pig, is not taking so much of trouble, but a human is taking so much of trouble just for some small sense gratification. Whereas this human body is for tapaha divyam, tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam. For this tapasya, this human body is meant for tapasya. Then one can experience that Brahma Saukyam. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukte. So beautiful verses are there, 5.5.1 onwards. The teachings of Rishabdev to his sons. Those teachings should be studied. Very beautiful teachings are there. It goes up to 18th verse. Okay. So to teach what is Paramahamsa stage, Kutikcha, Bahutaka, Privirajkacharya, Paramahamsa. This Kutichaka, what he does, he stays outside the house, but he's always dependent on his house. Bahutaka is dependent on many houses. Parivirajkacharya, he moves on, but still he is dependent. But he's not much dependent, he just moves. He travels around. Paramahamsa, he doesn't ask anything. Automatically everything he gets it. That is Paramahamsa stage. He never even asks for any small things also. Okay. So here we will stop. We have done up 8 incarnations. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Today no questions. Okay, Madhuri Manjari. Yes.
Mataji, Naranarayana Rishi, empowered type of incarnation?
Actually, doesn't come in empowered.
Okay.
Empowered is either for the jivas or directly Lord can directly empower or indirectly empower. When directly empower, they are coming in the you can say avatara form. Like Narada, he is coming in the Jiva Tattva only. Narada doesn't come in Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva. But because he is directly empowered, then he is known as Narada Rishi. In the same way, here Naranarayana is Lord appearing directly as Naranarayana. That is why it's not empowering. He is coming for a purpose. Leela Avataras. You have to categorize. But sometimes they can be added also. It's not necessary every Jiva. Like you have Vyasa. He is empowered. Adishesha is not a Jiva. Then Adishesha is also counted. It is like sometimes can be added in the empowered also. Leela and empowered incarnation, in both the combinations can be there.
Kapila Muni.
Kapila Muni is Leela Avtara. And again, Leela with empowered. Now, empowered or Leela, that time sometimes there is a confusion. In Leela, something which is done very playfully for enjoyment. And when you say an empowered incarnation, comes for teaching something. So that is why appears also as empowered.
And Rishabhadev.
Rishabhadev again comes in empowered incarnation, not in the Leela Avatara. See, when Leela Avatara means something which is done very majestically and very playfully, which a common man cannot even do it. Something which is like that. And when you say empowered incarnation, there is a mission. There is something mission, like Prutu Maharaj, empowered incarnation. Kushta Samhara. Parashuram also comes in empowered. You know that? Though Krishna only, but comes in empowered. Not necessarily Jivas only. Lord himself, Vishnu Tattva, can come in empowered.
Thank you, Mataji.
So this is little bit a complicated thing to analyze whether Leela or empowered. But very cut to cut, very, very nicely we can explain is what one is. Sometimes I see Vamana. He comes even in the Manvantara. We have to be that also, we have to be very careful. He is there as Leela also, comes as Manvantara also. There sometimes the chance is there to go in the other category. Only in Gunavatara, Purushavatara, Yugavatara, there is no chance of going anywhere. But sometimes Leela can go in Manvantara, sometimes Leela can go in empowered also. Okay. Any more doubt?
हरे कृष्ण माता जी. स्मॉल डाउट माता जी. माता जी, शिव जी है वो, उन्होंने मटीरियल तमोगुण को टच किया है, मतलब वो मैटर को, तो मतलब मगर फिर भी वो
टच नहीं किया. तमोगुण को टच नहीं किया. तमोगुण के अधिष्ठान है. is
मगर he is above all three, ना माता जी?
Yes, above all. All are above all three only. Even Brahma is also above. Lord only appears as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Gunavatara. So they are above three. It's not that.
मतलब शिव जी जो है वो तमोगुण के अधिष्ठान देवता है, deity. Okay.
Predominating deity. लेकिन मैटर को टच कर रहे हैं, मैटर के साथ उनको रहना पड़ता है, इसीलिए उनका 85% टच करना पड़ता है. ब्रह्मा जी को भी क्रिएट करना पड़ता है, इसीलिए 75.
ओके माता जी, थैंक यू.
Vinaya Mataji is sleeping, I think. Completely confused now. Okay. Over. Okay, very good.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.
So we'll meet on Monday. So the class will be on Monday, Friday, and Saturday next week. Monday,
Yes,
Friday,
Mataji.
Saturday. Okay.